Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to my channel. My name is Tom LaHue, and we're going to talk about Enneagram Type 6 today. So thank you for joining me for this video. And as just a reminder to you, on my website, tomlahue.com, I have a little tag there where you can sign up to join my community. It's free, and I love to send out free stuff and all kinds of information. So please take a second and go to the website, tomlahue.com, join my free community. Also, there's great information there if you're interested in coaching. Several coaching programs available. So let's jump into Type 6 here and talk about the superpowers of Type 6. Did you know you have some superpowers? I mean, think about it like this. All of us are wired with our Enneagram types, our personality types, where there's certain things that we just kind of are drawn to and tend to excel at, while there's another list of weaknesses or challenges for every type. But we're going to keep it positive through this series as we talk about the superpowers. And how are sixes like superheroes? What is in your arsenal of superpowers? So let's take a second and break down this list. I got a list I'm looking at here, of several different superpowers. And let's just start with the first one, the obvious one, loyalty and faithfulness. And sixes, of course, are called the loyalist. And so it's no surprise that one of their superpowers, or one of your superpowers, is being loyal or being faithful. And let's see what I wrote down here. Type 6 individuals are known as the loyalist for a reason. They're steadfastly loyal and committed to their relationships, whether they be personal or professional. Once they've built trust in someone, they'll stand through thick and thin to support and to be alongside that person. Now, I think back to my own mom, who was a 6-wing 5, and my mother-in-law, who was a 6-wing 7. And I can see, elements of this as I think back and remember, for example, if they found a auto mechanic, or maybe they found a doctor or chiropractor that they trusted, somebody that, it's treated us right and was honest and did a good job, then we might drive an hour away to go back to that mechanic or back to that doctor. Suppose you move, but when we're back in that area, we're going to visit that doctor, we're going to visit that mechanic because we know we can trust that person. There's a lot of looking back sometimes with sixes, back to the more stable times where there was tradition and there were values and we knew who we were and we knew who we could trust. So that loyalty and faithfulness, what an important thing. I mean, think about how disloyal people are today. I mean, think about, if my job or my relationship isn't working out, or I don't feel like I'm getting the best deal I can, people are all too willing to just kind of cut ties and run, look for the better deal. And sixes, you remind us that we need to be more loyal. We need to be more faithful to one another. All right, next superpower is responsible and dependable. What a great superpower. When I think of one of the words I think of for sixes, I think of the word concerned. I'm concerned about what I see over here. I'm concerned about something that's out of balance over here. And this idea of being responsible or dependable. I mean, think the buddy, 6-wing 7, the defender, 6-wing 5. One of the great terms I think that could fit a 6 is the babysitter. This is the person that you want who's going to be responsible, who's going to manage things, take care of things the way you've asked them to. So responsible and dependable. Type 6s are reliable and responsible. They take their commitment seriously and can be counted on to fulfill their duties and responsibilities. And this reality makes them a rock in times of instability and change. As a 6, what do you think about change? Do you like change, or does change bother you? Does it make you feel nervous inside? And, even with that responsibility and dependability, it's because, in a lot of ways, you've taken on like this burden to make sure that under my watch, these things don't happen. And so I'm sure it comes at a price to your own personal well-being to demonstrate such responsibility and dependability. But it's something we love about you. It's something that we find value in, is that determined sense that, well, it's not going to happen on my watch. All right, number 3, excellent problem solvers. Do you know that about yourself? Excellent problem solvers. Now, one of the challenges to being an excellent problem solver is you might tend to see problems even when they aren't there. And you probably realize this about yourself, that you tend to see or forecast or project or predict, whatever word you want to use here, but tend to see problems where other people might think, what's the problem? I'm not really understanding. Yeah, something could happen, but all right, let's keep this positive. Excellent problem solvers. Type 6s have a knack for anticipating problems and then troubleshooting. Think like scanning through all of the potential solutions of what could be, how we could solve this, what could go wrong. A natural tendency to think about all the possible scenarios, which makes them excellent risk management specialists, logisticians, or challenging or predicting logistics. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. And then all kinds of planning. You know, sometimes planning can be hard for the rest of us. I'm a 7, wing 6, but planning can sometimes be difficult. I like dreaming, I love possibilities, but I actually like getting your feet down on the ground and, all right, let's create a plan. Let's work through what could go wrong and how we're going to address those things. What's our actual plan? And as 6s, you're just kind of hardwired to want to do this work. And believe me, it's valuable. We need somebody in our office. So don't get discouraged. If people are discouraging you, don't get discouraged. You play a vital role in that team or a vital role in that group, helping the rest of us to see what we might skim over, what we might miss, that could later one day we could regret. So excellent problem solvers. All right, next, I think it's number 4, cautious and prudent. Prudent, superpower, prudent. You know, oh, okay, look at those 8s, you know, superpower, strength, look at me. Prudent, I'm prudent. Cautious and prudent. Type 6 individuals are careful and cautious. Careful, what a great thing. I mean, think if you're a nurse or you're a doctor. No, my family just went to a doctor the other day who was a 6. And, you know, one of the things that they mentioned is this doctor they were answering questions, but one of the things they said was, now, I always want to get a second opinion. So I like to have somebody, I'm going to tell you what I think, and I'm going to tell you what I believe and what you should do. But then I want you to get a second opinion. I want you to look and do your own research. That's very 6. You know, here's what I think you ought to do. Here's what I think is important. Here's what I think the answer is, but I'm not going to push that on you. I want you to be well informed so you can make your own decisions. Cautious. And there's so many jobs where being cautious is a value, where being cautious is a good thing. You know, sometimes a lot of us, we just kind of rush into things and want to solve it. We don't want to deal with it. We want to think about it. But what a great asset it is to have that person who's like, whoa, slow down a minute. Let's really think about this. Let's take a second to really unpack what could happen. Cautious and prudent. Type 6 individuals are careful and cautious. They don't rush into things without thinking them through. This carefulness often leads to well thought out decisions. Now I got a barking dog. Now we're going to talk about number 5, committed to community. Community. Doesn't everybody have this idea in their life, like they would like to be a part of a community where people are taking care of one another, a village where everybody has their job, their task, and we're all contributing to one another, protecting each other, aligned with each other, working for the same goals. What a great vision. Community. And 6s, you have this superpower of being people that just believe in this idea. Like, we should be there for one another. We should take care of each other. When a neighbor is in need, we should show up and help one another, and we should be there to support each other. What a fantastic way of looking at life. We need more of that. So as 6s, one of your superpowers is your commitment to community. Type 6s value community and social harmony. What a great concept. They're often engaged in their communities, working to ensure safety, harmony, and mutual support. And this commitment can make them excellent team players. And, you know, we need a lot more team players. Sometimes, you know, when you get on a team, you find somebody who's just in it for themselves. They just want to prove their own worth. They want to prove their value. They want to show you that they're better than everybody else. And they sometimes work against their own teammates in order to prove that they're the most valuable player. I remember coaching a professional football player, And he was a 6, and he was so discouraged because he always believed, going through the ranks of high school football and college football, that one day when he became a part of a professional football team, that he would be on a team, and this team would be there to support him, and they would be there to encourage him, and they would have his back. And what he found very discouraging was often your worst enemies are on your own team, because when you fail, when you get injured, then they get to play. They get to step into your spot. They get to take your place. He was a starter, professional football, and he was so discouraged because he found that even on his own team, his teammates aren't always for you. And sometimes they kind of are sitting in the background, sort of waiting and hoping that you fail so that they can step into your role. Very discouraging. What a great view, though, that Sixes have, is like we should all be there for one another, to support each other, to lift each other up. All right, next, courageous. Yes, courageous. Now, you might as a 6 think, man, I tend to feel anxiety. I tend to feel fear. I don't feel very courageous. Well, think of it like this. If everything in your life could provoke you to fear because of that scanning and spiraling mind of yours, where you can forecast the dangers and the threats, if everything could move you to fear, then you're constantly showing courage by just showing up and doing what needs to be done. And this is one of the things I love about 6s. Yeah, I think Barney Fife is a 6, and if you don't know who Barney Fife is, I guess I'm too old, but go back and watch Andy Griffith, and you can see that anxiety and that fear in Barney Fife. But so is Braveheart. Braveheart is a 6. Mel Gibson is a 6, and in his movies, he portrays that 6ness. And look at that courageous, trying to rally the troops to fight against an oppressive enemy. So 6s, don't underestimate the courage. Also, I think Batman as a character is a 6, who's afraid of bats and then uses his fear to try to create fear in others. Courageous. Despite often struggling with fear and anxiety themselves, when Type 6s face their fears, they can exhibit remarkable courage. And this courage is not flashy, it's not attention-seeking, but rather think of it as like a steady resolve to just do what needs to be done. To be willing to ask questions, to be willing to stand up against a tyrant, or to be willing to stand up against a bully and stand up for the underdog. This is one of the things that makes 6s awesome. I think it's sort of like, the mentality of like the biker gang. And I don't mean like the bad biker gangs. I just mean the guys, that are there for each other. They support each other. They all wear the same patch. They're on a team, and they want each other to know that I've got your back. I'm there for you. It's the culture of the United States Marines. It's the culture of EMTs. The guys that are 911 answering the operator and then sending out the EMTs to go rescue and help and support and encourage. That's you guys, man. That's your energy. I think one of the great characters of 6s on television recently is in the show Stranger Things. There's several 6s in that show. I think Mike is a 6. Whatever the guy is that's bald that, speaks Russian, he's a 6, wing 5. But I think the mom, Joyce Byers, I think is played by Winona Ryder. She does a great job of just showing like this courage and this dedication. She's going to protect her kids. Will is lost. He's stuck in this other dimension, and she is going to do whatever it takes, relentless. She will spend whatever money she has to spend. She will interrupt whoever she needs to interrupt. She will challenge anybody because she is loyal and she is courageous. And even though underneath she's probably terrified like a duck, she's smooth on the water, but underneath, there's panic and anxiety. She's just courageous, relentless, and a fighter. She's a 6, and that is what 6s are. Courageous. I love it. Don't you feel good about yourself? I want you to feel good about yourself. I want you to hear this and be like, yes, I need to stand in that energy. I've been over in this 3 place too long, trying to prove myself to everybody. I don't need to prove myself to anybody. And look, I realize all of this can be very exhausting at times. And I want you to know you're not alone. You are supported. And, if you want to reach out for intentional one-on-one support, I'm available. Go to my website, tomlahue.com. This is what I do. I coach people. Now I've got a 12-week program. I can walk you through, help you figure out what your goals are and then what's keeping you stuck. As a six, what's keeping you back? And just know that you're not alone. We can help you and work through this process together. All right, last one. Strong belief system. Strong belief system. This is important. We all have a belief system. Even people who say, I don't believe anything, I'm a skeptic. Okay, that's your belief system then, and you hold to it. You really hold to it, even when you shouldn't. We all have a strong belief system, but most of us, or say a lot of us, don't really articulate that belief system very well. It's kind of like haphazardly thrown together, which is a sign of postmodernism, right? But look at type sixes. They have a strong belief system, a strong sense of values that guide their actions. Man, you guys are country music. I know you might not like country music, but so much of country music is looking to a strong external belief system. We got the flag, we got the Constitution, we got the little country town where everybody knew each other and everybody was there for one another. And we go back to those days where it was simple and values, and that is such six energy. And it's good. It's a good thing. Think about going back to your hometown. Think about going to that place where people were rooted. They were committed to one another. They were loyal to each other. They loved their country. They loved their families. They proudly waved the flag. Man, that is such six energy. And look at how comforting that is. At least to most of us, it's comforting. Going back 4th of July, having picnics, you know where you stand. You know who you are, you know where you stand. And then this way, a lot of times sixes can look a lot like ones sometimes, because that focus on doing the right thing and being responsible, you guys kind of share that together with ones. This can give a strong moral compass, providing them with direction and purpose. Kind of like, as for me and my house, as for me and my family, this is where we stand. And you guys have thought through this stuff. And you have a good, firm foundation on which you stand. And be willing to share that with others. It might be a little bit frightening at times, but you're courageous. So what were those? Let's look at them again. Okay, loyal and faithful, responsible and dependable, excellent problem solvers, cautious and prudent, committed to community, courageous, and has a strong belief system. Man, who doesn't want that on their team? Who doesn't need that on their team? Who doesn't need those people coming around them to give them support and encouragement? I know I do. And sixes, appreciate you guys. And as always, be present to life. I'll see you next time.